I was a little jittery about that. I've been on a plane before, but not a commercial airplane. So, the whole excitement and not knowing, what to expect, I was kind of a little jittery on that whole process. And I remember as we was going there, but this, you got to remember, I was going there and we're getting ready to get on the airplane. I'm expecting, to go up the stairs and, you don't see no movies in TV. You go up the stairs and then I'm going to wave to the people goodbye. Man, I go there and we're inside the terminal and the airplane's right there. I was like, oh, man, I didn't get a chance to, get that whole excitement of actually, waving to the people. So I'm like, oh, man. And then passing them, and them, they making no better on me. They was like, they actually wanted to still recording. I'm like, nah, let's don't even do all that. But I thank God. I could say, being around pastors, it's always, first of all, I look at it as a privilege because just being with the apostle and you just never know what you're going to get. And, when he really walks in that apostleship, you just want to just let him be and just, watch God move on him. But, as we was on the plane that was getting there, Pastor, he kept looking at me because I sat next to him and Mr. Alex was on the left, he was by the window and Pastor by the aisle. He kept looking at me like, son, you all right? So I'm like, I'm all right. But he was the one that was praying. So I think he was doing that to try to put it off him and put it on me. But I kept watching. Every time I look at him, I see him praying. And but we had a good time, and we definitely had a great time. And even before we got there, and as we was getting there, because this is my first time being elevated above the earth. So I'm looking out to the window, and I think Tyler experienced like most of the trip. Even through the takeoff, he was gone. I think he done been on airplanes, so he's been used to it. So as I was looking through the window, I'm looking at God's creation. I'm looking at the clouds. I'm looking at the water, and then you see the lower clouds. Then points would be even the higher clouds. I'm like, man, look at God's creation. And I just really focus on God. Just like, man, it made me look at God in a way I've never looked at him before. It actually showed me how mighty he really is. Like you're that above the earth, and you see how big it is, but to God it's nothing. It's just so small. So let me look at God, how mighty he really is. And as we got there, as we was actually above Haiti, and we saw all the mountains, I'm like, man, look at this. All you see is mountains on top of mountains. The view was just awesome. It was just a wonderful experience. And as we landed, we got off, we saw more mountains. And you just look around, all you see is just the blue sky, little clouds, and all these just great, magnificent mountains. I'm like, man, what a sight to see. So just from the jump, my experience with Haiti was just, and it got a little emotional for me because, being of Haitian descent, and now I'm finally coming back, going there for the first time, I didn't know what to expect, I didn't know how my emotions would be, I was just more excited than anything. So as we get there, we drove through the city. We began to ride. We got picked up by Pastor Joseph, and me at this point, my whole mindset is just watch for Pastor, just make sure he all right, and just be observant, who comes up to him and all this stuff. Cause I'm in a unfamiliar territory. I'm not just stuck on him, see who comes up to him and everything, because you're in a different territory. You don't know what to expect. But it went well. I think it was Brother Daniel and Brother and Patrice. They was like the undercover security guards for us the whole time. So they helped us get to where we need to be safely. And as we went through the city, one of the first experiences I know from the jump. As we was riding, you're in a different world, a different part of the world, because over there they're not run by traffic lights and stoplights over here in America. So really, they go by like a honking system. So they're constantly moving and driving, and they let you know that you're there, they're trying to maneuver by honking at you. So over here, how we honk, and it's considered like road rage. People over there. Over there is like the way of driving. So you're driving, honk, gotta go, just go around them, and just keep going. And it's funny because, like, I was expecting to see a whole bunch of car accidents and wrecks, but it takes a lot of skill to be driving that way and maneuver through motorcycles and trucks and not hitting anybody. That takes a lot of skills. Now over here, it showed me why foreigners, when they come over here, they drive kind of reckless and kind of crazy. Cause I got to see it. I got to really see how it is, because over there they're not run by traffic lights and stop signs like we all over here. So I see why Miami has like one of the worst drivers in the world. I see that plain. But it was, the first day while I was driving, while I was riding, I actually was like on the edge the whole time. I'm like, okay, we're gonna hit this person. We're gonna hit this motorcycle. Like, oh, I was looking, but we did it. I was like, man, this is crazy. Like it was like a big chaos. But everybody was, I guess it was like for us, never experienced it. It'll be like, man, what am I got myself into? I'm like what they call it, a demolition derby, whatever they call it. It was almost something like that because you can see a lot of the trucks been bent up and dented from, I guess, passes, hits. But and that was something. But as the week went by, it became like normal. Okay, like I got to the point where I'm just sleeping. I was just sleeping, like not even phased by it. But that was one of the first experiences I experienced. The beaches over there, like we went through Jacmel, and I think we posted some of those pictures, and I know Pastor showed them. That was a wonderful beach. I mean, it was just nice breeze, and you can see the mountains in the back of it. I mean, when you actually be there and you just see it, I try to really just soak in, where I was at, especially when I was on the mountains and we was driving up there. And let me tell you about the drive and going to the mountains to going to our destination. Now that right there had us praying. Oh, that was a experience right there, because when you're in the mountains, it's not like, I mean, you have a lot of curves. I mean, very sharp curves where you literally got to slow down to like 5 miles per hour. And it's like almost like a curve like this. You have to curve and cars are coming fast. I mean, you pretty much got to be honking the whole time just to maneuver and stuff. And there was a couple of peaks where there's not even no rails there. And I think they had like past accidents where, people just ran right to and like, I guess, fell off the mountain and stuff. And they actually got a place over there that actually was like a burial site for like past missionaries that died or got into accidents. But going up the mountains, I mean, that was an experience because you actually got to tell how fresh air is supposed to feel like and smell. I mean, it's just so fresh and clear and it was just an amazing. I mean, it was cool up there, and all you see is these mountains, and you see the sun, and then all the lights that you see with the valleys. I mean, that was just an incredible sight to see. As we got there, and that's because we was in the countryside. That's where Pastor Joseph's house was. So you really got to see the difference in class. When we drove through the city, you see more buildings and structures and banks. But as you got through the countryside where we was at, you maybe see a few houses. You'll see your trees. You'll maybe see a few little structures, but for the most part, it was nothing but mountains and just the places where the people were living. Man, as we got there, that's when it became apparent that the people on the countryside was more of the poor folks, because I mean, you can clearly see where we'll be driving down, and all you see is you'll see a person, like a little child. All they have just a shirt on, or maybe they have like top and no bottom. I mean, young guys, I mean, like 3-4 years old, even younger than that. And you've been paying like, okay, this is where the more impoverished people were staying. You'll see them walking in mules. You'll see the mules with, buckets of water and, whether it be like a bag of rice or whatever else they had. And then it started hitting me like, man, this is like we're in a surreal, this is the gutter of Haiti where it was at. As we got there, Pastor Joseph, man, I gotta say, man, he opened us up with welcoming arms. I mean, his hospitality was just amazing. I mean, he really made sure we was okay. And he made sure that he made sure Pastor wanted to come back to you because he didn't want no emotions going on. And like he kept throughout the trip, like, Pastor, I gotta make sure you get back because I don't want this cow to be on me. But Pastor Joseph, he did an excellent job. He definitely he made us feel like family. And we got there, we unloading and stuff. And one thing I noticed through the whole trip, how the unity that was displayed. I mean, Pastor Joseph, different times, I mean, throughout the whole week, different folks from the village, from the community just come over there and just hang out. And when it came time to the meals, they was all chipping in. I mean, the kitchen side, you'll see maybe about 8 or 9 people and everybody helping in and pretty much knew what they were doing. I mean, it was very rarely where somebody had to talk to somebody and tell them to do this, but it was all done in unity. And the food over there, everything was eaten off the land. I mean, if we killed a goat, they cleaned it, they cleaned it, they did all that, and then we ate it the same day. The grapes over there, the mangoes, the coconut. I mean, me and Minister Tyler were talking like, man, what are we eating back in America? Because you can taste the freshness of the food. It's all natural. There's nothing added to it. There's no preservatives like we have over here. And even the animals, like when they was killing the chicken, and that was in it. This is my first time seeing all these animals actually dying. So I'm just just watching. I'm like killing skinny store, just looking. And when they actually, they plucked all the feathers out, and you seen the size of the chicken, it didn't look all that big, but that's how a chicken's supposed to look. Like over here, they all fatten up and swollen, look like they've been building muscles. So that let me realize, man, what are we eating over here? And the chicken over there, I think over here they're like white, like this pale white. Over there they're like this more yellowish look, but that's how a chicken's supposed to look. And when we actually taste it, I'm like, it made me. When I taste the chicken over there and taste it over here, I told myself I feel like I'm drinking water when I'm eating the chicken over here. Because you can just taste the variety of the tastes, because the chicken over there looks more brown than meat, and over here more like that yellowish or whitish pinkish look. I'm like, man, what in the world am I eating back in America? But man, the goat killing, that was exciting, because I think we ended up killing like 3 goats that first day. Was it 3 goats? 3 of them. So that was now Sister Maxine, she was the animal lover, so every time we was getting ready to look, she'll go back in the porch and have her back turned, because she didn't want no part of none of that. So as and Pastor actually killed one of them. He actually, but I watched it, and I'm expecting it to be a bloodbath. The whole process of it. But as the goat got his neck slashed, they slumped it over, and they had the little jar while the blood was coming out. And then the other brothers that was there, they took over. And the whole process went smoothly. There was no blood on none of the workers that was cutting it up. I mean, you can tell that there was professionals at it. I mean, just layer by layer, they were just taking care of them. Like, wow. So that was amazing to me to be witness that. And I wrote a few of my experiences because I want to make sure I touch on the key ones I wanted to write. But the freshness of the food and the way to prepare for it, because it made me realize something. Because over here in America, food is so, easily to access. So over here it's convenient, just go, get some food. It's so convenient. So, and we pay for convenience over here. Over there, everything they do for food, they have to work for. You have to go get your goat or your hog or whatever you feel like eating. You got to kill it, and then you prepare for and do all that stuff. So everything's fresh. So, and also through the countryside, you can see there's not many obese people over there. You're not really gonna find a lot of fat people or overweight people, because everything they do, they have to work for it. So even if you want to get a goat, you might have to walk a few miles to go get a goat or wherever it may be. And where was that? It was on the hills, so you had to climb up hills, go down hills. I mean, we got so many experiences with just going up and down those hills. Just about every one of us fell a few times or slipped throughout. Because those gravel and the rocks over there are like this big, and they're very slippery. I mean, I let them, go more with the hills, but we had a lot of memories. We had a lot of memories on those hills. But so everything they had to do, they had to work for. And, and I see, and I thought, just all them being slim was because of, maybe they weren't eating as much. And yeah, they were in the more impoverished part, but most of that would be because they had lean muscle. So they were strong actually. And you'll see, I mean, you'll be walking down the dirt road, and you'll see like an 80-year-old woman. I mean, you can tell she's of age, and she'll have like a jar of like clothes on top of her head or mangoes, walking in the bright, hot sun. And I'm looking at her, and she like barely don't even have a sweat on. But you see her, the definition of a body, it's all muscle. I'm like, wow, that amazed me. I mean, you'll see them from even the young ones. I mean, you'll see a young guy, or you might just have like some pants on or some shorts on, no shoes, walking in dirt road that's full of rocks and gravel, but walking in like it's like sand, and and smiling about it, and like in the hot sun, and And it's crazy because it shows you how wasteful and unappreciative we all over here. Because over there, everything they have to do, they have to go get it. And one thing, even through the city part, as we was riding through the city, because we went through Jacmel, and that's more developed cities. Even Leogan, where my parents and family actually are, is more developed. But one thing we noticed was over there, it's like a hustle mentality over there. It's like no one's really just standing around doing nothing. Everybody's on the move, doing something, trying to sell you something. I mean, you'll get about 3 or 4 different people come at you, trying to sell you mangoes or water, but they're trying to live, they're trying to survive out there. They're not just wasting time. And I mean, early in the day, about 4 or 5, I think the last day when we was leaving to come here, we was on the mountains. I think Mr. Tyler touched on it. It was like 4 something in the morning, and you already seen people out and about trying to trying to go get water. I mean, early. And one thing I noticed over there, and we noticed it, like time over there like freezes. It goes very, very slow. Because I mean, we left about most of the time we was up early anyways, about 7, 8, and we'll be out the house by 8 something, going to the city or wherever. And in our minds, we felt like we did like a whole day's worth going to the city, either to try to have a meeting or wherever the case may be. And in our minds, I'm thinking it's probably gonna be like 3 or 4 something. We look, it's only like 10 or 11 or 12, and we feel like we did a whole day's worth. I'm like, man, time just goes slow. Let me know over here we have all these technologies and stuff, and that makes time just goes faster. And but another thing I want to touch on is even when it came down to like the youth over there. One thing me and Minister Tyler thought, we thought, the young guys, throughout the city, they was gonna be trying to, maybe like the youth over here, they like to, look at the girls and all that stuff. Over there, we didn't see that much because throughout the day, I mean, them people over there, they about their money, they trying to hustle, they trying to grind. They ain't too busy worrying about a woman passing by. Cause we even stop back and watch, okay, a woman will pass by, and we'll look at the guy to see if he's gonna look. But man, they over there, they trying to look for the next person they can have with their taxi business. They're not worrying about no girls. They trying to get it. And I noticed something. I was like, man, it's almost like we're in a different world when we was over there. And it's almost like they can tell we was not from that area. So, we try to, dumb it down. We ain't come dressed all nice and casual. We try to make sure we fit in, to take less distraction off us. But one of the things I noticed over there is when it came down to the water, how very scarce it is over there. I mean, we're so blessed to be able to just cut on water and just take a shower and know that it's gonna be clean water. Even our tap water over here, the ones that we use to wash our cars and wash our dishes, that water alone you bring over there, and that'll be like clean, fresh water to them. Because in the countryside, now there's parts in Haiti, the more developed side where they actually got clean water, but in the countryside, the same, and this really touched me. The same little water river that you'll see, they bathe in, they wash their clothes in, and they say the water they use to drink. That touched me to see that. It's one thing to see it in TV, but when you see it and it's reality, I mean, you drop this there, it's like, wow, man. It's like, it was a surreal moment for me. I'm like, man, as easy as it is right now to just go cut on a faucet and have clean water and have good clean water, over there they have water pretty much like a cesspool, and they use that for all their daily lives. I mean, to clean themselves, to take a shower, to drink. I'm like, so that really touched me. Even when we was walking, and there was part that had wells that you can pump, but you'll see these little kids walking up to these wells to pump water, and you can tell they've been walking for a while. I mean, barefooted. I mean, just walking, with bottles of containers of water, and you can just see the joy in them to have some water, some good water. It's like, wow, stuff that we take for granted, they cherish it over there. I mean, that was a surreal moment for me to see that, because over there it's like good clean water is valuable over there. I'm like, they're not wasteful with their water. It's like a hot commodity. It's like gold over there. Because walking down the streets, you'll get somebody to come up to you with like these little water packages, And over there, like a dollar over there, like one Gouda or like a dollar corn over there, you can get like three of them for a dollar. And those things, it's very like to our eyes, it's like small, but those things over there, you have one of those things like gold to them. You just plug off the little edge of the package and just drink, and it's like to see like the scarceness of water that really hit home. Like, man, we're so wasteful and so ungrateful over here because we got it all, but we're so you know we, we're so ungrateful with it because we get it so abundant. But to see people who don't have that luxury to have clean water at their disposal at any time is like that was another surreal moment for me. And just but even through all that, like you're not gonna see anybody looking sad or down. Like they're happy. Like the morale of people is up. They're not sad and with a pity party. I mean, they're happy people, even with their conditioning being in the countryside being so rough as it is. They're happy. And as I was thinking, and as the week was going past, each day, I realized something. We maybe have more over here as far as I guess from an educational standpoint, or and easy access to more things, more resources. But we're probably better off in that fashion. But to be honest with you, they have the advantage of us when it comes to all living off the land. Because I can tell you right now, if all these technologies just drop and all these computers start working, or we have to be forced to live off the land, how many bodies in here that's ready to do that? Just straight up live off the land? We'll be lost. We'll be miserable. But they have that advantage because they can literally live off the land, and they do that. To be honest with you, the only thing that they're lacking of, as I was gathering my thoughts, is sufficient clean water, and they have a unstable economic structure in that area. But as far as everything else, they're good because I mean, as like right in front of Pastor Joe's house, he can easily just, and I've seen this. If somebody needs some tea, you just go walk outside, and they have the leaves and trees right there for it. Bam, living off the land. There's goats all around, and they have the skills to clean them up, cut them up because they raised them. I mean, everything they need, they can live off the land. When it comes down to chopping up the coconut trees and using that for fire, they have that. Us, if that stove ain't working or whatever, we out of gas. So they have the advantage when it comes to just living off the land. And as the and even like when we went to have those services, that first service, and just to, I'm just there just to watch. And man, this had me about in tears to see their their lives, their lifestyle, and what they go through when they have to face daily, their reality. But to see the way they worship God, I mean, it was so sincere. When I say it was so sincere, it was so, and everybody was involved. It was like one big corporate worship. And let me realize how relaxed and comfortable we all over here. We got to pump and prime people to worship God, but we say we love Him. Over there, it's just an automatic thing to them. It's automatic. When the worship time, from the young ones to the older mothers, everybody's involved. The praise, oh my goodness. Sometimes over here, the music got to be just right, or all the musicians got to be in place, or the singers, or whatever the situation, or we got to have a wonderful day to praise God. Their reality is they might not have eaten that day, or a couple days, or barely eaten. Some folks actually had to walk a mile, had to walk like an hour and a half to go to church. And they were doing it consistently and are faithful. But we might not come to church, and we might be a few blocks away because I don't feel like it. I'm tired. So the consistency they have with God over there, and this is the countryside. It's not even the development. I'm talking about the countryside. It showed me, man, we gotta tighten up because over there, and I'm just observing. Like, let's let me think, man. I have nothing to ever complain about ever in my life, ever. because what I thought was a struggle, or what I thought was, a burden, that is nothing. It's irrelevant now. To see that condition of what we have, bill problems now was nothing. It's irrelevant to me now. Car issues is nothing. Who cares? Their condition, what they face, which is a reality, and what I face, it don't match up. I'm still better off because even if I don't have a car issue, I can easily call somebody and I bring here. And even if a bill is late, is not being paid, or I'm late with, I still got a house to go to. I still have running water, cool air conditioned house. So what's there to complain about? That let me know, man. If I ever complain from this point on, I should be ashamed of myself, because their reality over there is, what we consider poor over here, and I try to compare it to the countryside in Jacqueline, where we was at. It don't compare. Our poor over here, to America stands, what we consider poor is a pretty decent living for them. Like those that may be on Section 8 and those very, what we consider poor homes, that's a luxury to them. Because we're in the spot in that countryside where we was at, where their rooftops were like leaves, coconut leaves, and sticks, and not all the houses and ceilings were fully put together, because you can tell they was working on it, but still living there. That was their reality. That's the reality. Now there were some homes that were developed and people actually was decent. There was some in that countryside, because even Pastor Joe's house, he lived in a pretty decent house, 3-bedroom. But just to know that this is their life, and that part, that changed my whole mindset. Where I look at my situation, and it actually made me upset myself. Like, man, why did it take me now to go and experience it? And I think because I letting people in the past, say things which affected me or discouraged me from going to Haiti. And then I started to get upset with myself. Like, man, this is my people. This is where I'm from. So it took me going to Haiti to see me, who I really am, and to see my parents. Like, I give you one incident where, and this really touched me. I think it was like Pastor and Tylex and I think Brother Darren. They were like going to the bank to get the exchange, get some more money sent to them. And it was just me and Pastor Joseph. And an older lady came up to Pastor Joseph, so I kind of backed away a little bit, let him talk. And then I seen her kind of back away a little bit, and I asked Pastor Joseph, like, is everything okay? Saying what was she saying? And he told me that she was saying that how she ain't got no money to feed her kids. And, she don't know how she's going to be able to feed her kids for today. And, she can just tell she was just worried. And I turned and looked at her. And when I looked at her, and this broke me down, I kind of see my mother in her. She reminded me of my mother, and that touched me. I'm like, and I had some Haitian money in me, some goods. They consider the dollar bills their goods. And ain't no way I could have looked at her and not give her nothing. To see that face, that desperation in her, oh, that touched me. Because, oh, man, that touched me, because I'm like, man, it's like if I didn't meet her need then, it's almost like in that situation, almost like I feel like I was her last hope. And that's where my love of God got, well, I won't say challenged, but if I would have not did that, knowing that she was in need, I couldn't say I had the Holy Ghost, oh, I love the Lord then. Because to see that expression, like even now I got that face, that picture, like that touched me. Another experience, I did one thing I liked about the trip to it. I actually got to spend time with my brothers and sisters, like Sister Maxine, Sister Taylor. Normally I don't get to spend, so I really got to know them, and them two right there, those two are something else. They're like sisters. I mean, the way they go back at each other, but it's in love. Them two, they was a blessing to be around. And I thank God because I know it was a sacrifice for them. It was a sacrifice because, in that situation, especially for a woman, and was in the countryside, you was going to get dusty. You was going to get dirty. I mean, there was no way around it. I mean, even going to the church, you had to go up a hill, climb up, and it was a pretty steep hill. So at times, me and Minister Tyler, who had to, help him up there. And even that, I mean, your shoes are going to get dirty. I mean, there's no way you're going to go out there and not be dusty or dirty. I mean, there's just no way around it. But they did it in the right spirit. I know it was a little difficult for them the first couple of days, but after a while they adjusted and got used to it. But like I said, we had a great time. We had a wonderful time. I'm gonna go through some scriptures, but I just want to show you some of my experiences. One thing I did notice though, because now when we went through Port-au-Prince, and which we know is the capital, there's actually a part which actually had today actually like earlier I went to do some research on called Cité Soleil, and because Daniel he told me when he got kidnapped, he got kidnapped here, and he said when we was going to the airport the morning to catch our flight to come back here, he actually said we actually were driving in the most dangerous part of Haiti. So as I did my research, and you can look it up now, it's actually considered one of the most dangerous parts in the whole world. Like in the Forbes, you can look it up now. It's actually I was looking up today in the Forbes top 15. I think they updated for. I think at that point it was like ranked number 13th because that part of Port-au-Prince. I mean, in every state capital, you're gonna have your very prosperous and flourished part. Also, you're gonna have your very impoverished and slum part. As we were driving through the slum part, you can literally see, and Mr. Tyler, he's a witness. You can see debris from miles long. Debris. I mean, buildings on top of buildings just collapsed because of earthquake. I mean, just demolished that area. And I mean, debris after debris, and it's just filthy in that area. I mean, just filthy. And I've done research today, and in that particular area was that, and I see why the morning of we had to wake up early and drive past it early in the morning because at a certain point, traffic gets very backed up. Well, you can be backed up about 2 hours. And at those times, they say in that area, there's a lot of crime in that area and a lot of gang activity in that area. So I did some research. That's actually the most dangerous part in Haiti, all of Haiti that we drove through, not even knowing that. And so, then he told me to after, so I guess he didn't want us to get spooked or whatever. But yeah, that was actually a surreal moment because you driving through and you'll see a few live animals, but you look around, I mean, you see people just everywhere, just lined up, just backed up. So that part, anything they say, because I was asking Brother Daniel, like, and being here, I don't really see any much like gang activities or people jumping them. But he told me in those particular areas, at any moment something can just strike. So you gotta be alert. Just any moment something can just break off. Just any moment. But one thing I didn't notice though, and I actually got to see America's spirit being over there because one thing I noticed, and I was sharing this with Mr. Alex, when I think we was walking through the beach, where this was beautiful to see, where being in that area, I mean, being in Haiti period, predominantly you're going to see black people. I mean, that's just what it is. But to see the way they handle each other and went about their ways, and you didn't see a lot of violence going on. You didn't see people wanting to just fight all the time. Like over here, if you get like 5, 6 black people together, you might be on your edge, like, thinking like, what's about to happen? But over there, that's not the case. That showed me that here in America is a certain stigmatization put on black people. There's a certain spirit because over there you actually got to see black people working hard, live their lives and not being so violent looking and mean looking. And I actually got to see that. And to see that when everybody just walking peacefully, just going about their business, that was beautiful to see that experience. To see black people. So that let me know that Americans is putting a stigmatization on the black person, on the black man, where we're nothing but violent. It makes it seem like we're nothing but violent, uncivilized people, which is not the truth, which is far from the truth. But to be in that atmosphere, to see that people, I mean, to see that the variations of the colors, and most of the women, had natural hair and was proud. You tell them there was proud people, put together people. That blessed my soul to see that. And another thing I want to talk about was the because throughout the day, as I mentioned earlier, you didn't see that many. You'll see people hustling and trying to make a living. But at night, I wondered like why we didn't see nobody like really like a big social gather at night. That Sunday night, apparently in that area, Sunday night that's when most people gather together. and hang out and stuff. And that's when we actually got to see, the guys, on the prowl looking for someone and stuff. But it was just amazing to see, all the black people together and just enjoying life and, just in harmony and going about their business, not what the media portrays us as being thugs and whatever the media got going on now. It was just good to see that, and it's good to just walk in the midst of, not have to worry about, am I going to get jumped or robbed, or because that let me know that the spirit that's over here is just awful. Like, even when it comes down to homosexuality, only the whole time I was there, I only seen the one, and that was the one that Patrice, one of the security guards, a very cool guy, was actually walking to put some minutes on the phone, and where was that? I guess like a little garage area right there, and he actually showed me. Oh, they go. It's called Masisi in Creole, which means gay or punk faggot, whatever. And I saw, yeah, he like a faggot. He was a faggot. But other than that, it wasn't like how it is now, where you can just literally walk and you see almost, by the thousands like it is over here. So it's not really big over there like it is in America. And another thing I noticed is not a lot of people there, they're not really full of tattoos and them crazy hairstyle like they are here. So that let me know, like, the money that they do have, that they do get, they're using it for their means. They're living off their means. They're not trying to, exploit their money and go all out and do, ridiculous things like we do over here. So you're not gonna see a lot of people tatted up and grilled up and, like we all over here. Those are some of the few things I noticed. Another thing I noticed, and I'm going to a few scriptures. I think I covered most of what I talked about. But just another thing I want to tell, just the as I was going there, especially when I got to meet my family. Now that was another surreal moment for me, because I posted a picture of my aunts on Facebook, and it was, to see them and meet them. I done seen pictures of Mona, the one that had a yellow shirt on, and she never smiled. I mean, that you just ain't gonna get a smile from her. But as I was, got to know her, she's such a loving woman. I mean, sweet. I mean, just both of them are. I mean, just so that was another that was actually a emotional part for me. And I went to go see my grandfather. He did like a candy when he saw me. Uh, just being there, I actually got to see myself and see how hard my parents work, to see that, and I see why now. Uh, how America, they'll go out and get foreigners from different countries with good work habits, and they come here and give them those low paying jobs, but they're able to work it, and seeing how much hard they work over there, when they come over here, the hard work that we call hard work over here is nothing to them. It's cakewalk. Because to get up, I mean, whether you be 88 or barely one, and to have to walk in the hot sun, I mean, with no shoes, even sometimes they have to walk up the mountain with no shoes and it's hot and peeping hot, just to get some water, and might have to walk miles and miles and do it, and not and doing it sitting up straight, smiling and happy, and doing like it's like nothing. That showed me, man, they work happy and I work happy here, we'll be considered lazy. But there's some hard working people. And I got to see that. I was like, wow. That was another surreal moment for me to see that. But I did say I ended up being prouder than ever, because I actually got to see myself and to see, I got to see my parents and see how, got to really see who I am and where I'm from. And even, I give you an example, even when it comes down to the way we look, like, now, I ain't no punk or faggot or nothing like that, but I got long eyelashes. I mean, that's what it, I mean, I just born. I mean, I ain't never, I don't do all that crazy stuff, but I see why, because in certain parts, especially the countryside, it gets very dusty, especially with the ocean breeze and the mountain breeze. So I guess God designed that way, where we have to have long lashes to cover our eyes and stuff. But I see that it makes sense now. And even the way, when it comes down to, like, most Haitians that's blood born over there, they kind of walk with their legs kind of like out a little bit, kind of like this. And I see why, because a perfect example, like, it's like I think he's about 14, 15 year old. He was like a coconut guy. He'll get up coconuts, but I mean, he'll climb up them trees. And I guess with no, I'm talking about with no harness, no strap, no shoes. He climb up like it's nothing. I guess him having to have that his leg walk that he was able to climb up like it was nothing. So I got to see why, like little things like that. And I say, well, their feet are like hard as rocks. I mean, you to be walking on and those coconut trees. I mean, they got sharp edges, so you'll get sliced, but they walk up like it's nothing, sliding down like it's nothing. I'm like, wow. That let me know, like, man, gotta tighten up. But I tell you this, I'm gonna go through a few scriptures. I enjoy myself because I always had this part of me where I always wanted to be. I got this countryside of me, like I like things like that, like the country and nature and animals. So my whole trip was almost like an adventure to me. So I was just enjoying every moment of it, just soaking it all in, to be amongst my people, to meet my family, be my own pastor. And I'll tell you what, Pastor had a great time. I can tell you this. I mean, he ate up everything he can possibly eat. He, I mean, he ate more than all of us. I can tell you that. I mean, the goat, the hog. I mean, we got this thing called chocolate. It's like Haitian chocolate. He drunk that. He drunk we call it laboui, and it's like a Haitian oatmeal. He drunk that. Um, Now we got this drink called G Grenaja. To this day, he can't say it right. He say Benadryl, or ginger, ginger ale or something. But he absolutely fell in love with it. I mean, each time we went to the Collins Hotel, which was off the beachfront of Jacmel, he'll get one, and then say, "I want another." He'll at least get three. Even we got a drink called the fruit champagne. It's like a golden champagne, it's a champagne soda. He loved that. He just kept it coming, kept it coming. I mean, Pastor, he ate good. The plantains over there is different. It's, I'm used to eat more sweet plantains. So, but over there's more crispy like chips. You eat a few of those and you actually get full. I mean, it was real good. The, what else he ate? I mean, he fell in love with the rice. I mean, Pastor, he ate good. I tell you that he loved this stuff. That's why he was like, I know he made a phrase. I think he mentioned it that he's gonna go talk to his mom and dad to see if they're really Haitian or got any Haitian in them because he fit into the culture just perfectly fine. He can pronounce anything right, but he fit in. But he did. I think he know a few words like we and messy means, which means we means yes and messy means thank you in Creole. But other than that, I mean he tried. He tried, but he couldn't get it. But it was a overall it was a learning experience. It was a humbling experience, and it showed me though the church's true purpose. Let's go to I'm gonna give a few scriptures and then I'm gonna get to it. Let's go to Matthew chapter 25. And I'm gonna pretty much reiterate some of the scriptures Pastor said on last night because I know faith comes by hearing, and hearing by the word of God, and sometimes it can be seen to get drilled in us for it is the click. Matthew the 25th chapter, and I'm gonna start on verse 31. When the Son of Man shall come in his glory, and all the holy angels with him, then shall be open. Excuse me. Then shall he sit upon the throne of his glory, and before him shall be gathered all nations, and shall separate them from another, as a shepherd divideth his sheep from the goats. And he shall say unto the sheep on his right hand and the goats on his left, then shall the king say unto them on his right hand, Come ye blessed of my Father, inherit the kingdom prepared for them from the foundation of the world. For I was hungered, and you gave me meat. I was thirsty, and you gave me drink. I was a stranger, and you took me in. Naked, you clothed me. I was sick, and you visited me. I was in prison, and you came into me. Then shall the righteous answer him, saying, Lord, when saw we thee in hungered, and fed thee, or thirsty, and gave thee drink? When we saw thee a stranger, and took thee in, or naked, and clothed thee? Or when we saw thee sick, or when we saw thee sick or in prison, and came unto thee, and the Lord shall, and the king shall answer them and say, Verily I say unto you, insomuch as you have done it unto one of these least ones, excuse me, at least of these, my brethren, ye have done it to me. Now that hit home with me. Feeding people that's hungry and and giving people drink that's thirsty and giving clothes to people that are naked, don't have. Lord said, at least you done done it to one of them, you done done it to me. So that hit home with me. So my mindset is when I'm doing these things, that picture if the Lord was right there in front of me, ask me, do he want something to eat? Or ask me something to drink? Or ask me some clothes? Because say, in doing these to whoever you come about, you're doing it to him. So when you feeding people, you're feeding the Lord. When you're giving people drink, you're giving drink to the Lord. So our whole mindset to be, let's do these things after the Lord is presently right there with us. Because it's easy to pass people by, going about our daily lives. I've done it. I'm guilty of it. Being over there, man, I had to repent too going over there because like, man, it didn't click. And even now, it might not click with you, but I guarantee you this. You make that trip and go, just one time, just one trip, your mindset is going to change completely because it's one thing to see it in a movie or me telling you or you see it on a TV show, but when you experience it and it's reality, like this is it, this is the real thing, it changed your whole mindset. It makes you look at your life and what you got on, it makes it look this small. What I thought was a struggle or burdens in my life, what I go through is this small now. Don't even matter. It's nothing. Nothing. I'm still better off. Even at my lowest point, even if I don't have no money, whatever it may be, it's more than irrelevant now. It don't matter. Who cares about it? Like even today, as I was eating food, those faces still popped in my head. Those images, those faces of those hungry people. Even when I took a shower, those faces just kept coming. I mean, it's like it just stuck in me. Like it won't budge because I know I still got work to do. This is just the beginning. But even now, when it comes down to eating, now I'm so mindful, and I gotta realize, man, when I eat now, I eat different now because now I eat and look. I realize that it's a privilege for us to have food, food anytime we want. But for them, they don't have that privilege like we have. And, in the country part. Now there are some parts like Leogang, which is more developed. They actually have. I mean, it's a pretty decent living over there in that part of Leogang where my family from. I mean, they have parks, they have banks, 2-story houses. They have mansions. I mean, they're living pretty good in that area. But even in that area, you can still allow to breathe because you can tell what part of the earthquake affected and hit. But even through all that, which is the reality, there's the joy that was displayed through the hell that they showed. I mean, they were in need, but they were still trying to give. I mean, we came to bless them, to feed them stuff, but they were still trying to bless us. And they barely had little to nothing. Some of them had nothing. But to see that they was willing to still give and do with so much joy, that showed me, man, we done missed the mark over here. And that let me look at stuff that I used to go through or what we consider burdens. Like, I give example, we used to complain about stuff like, oh, I don't feel like singing today. I'm tired. I don't feel like presiding today. Man, you cut the grass. Man, you take the trash out. Little petty stuff. It's petty. It's petty. Once you to be in an environment, you look at stuff differently. We complain about the pettiest stuff over here. Don't matter. It just don't matter no more to me. It's just nothing. Go ahead and pick the trash up. Go ahead. This is nothing, man. We missing it. Something has to change because it's like I can't rest now knowing that, people are in need. And one thing, church, I'm going to give you a few more scriptures, man. This is a worldwide ministry we have over here. Worldwide ministry. So our mindset has to be equivalent to that. So now the church can't be focused on the temple or Winter Haven no more. No more. Enough with that. Our mindset got to be outside. And I realized something when I was there, when I was going, it actually I was actually getting a self-fulfillment, knowing that I'm actually touching somebody's lives. I mean, we went to the markets throughout the countryside, and we helped those businesses out, and to go to the one was feeding them, just to give a child some candy, and to see the expression on their face like you done gave $1,000,000. They loved it, and just one candy that hit home. I mean, we always giving away our shirts. I mean, I was giving them because I'm thinking was gonna be pretty decent church, and it was a decent, but I'm thinking it was gonna be like maybe air conditioned but I didn't know it was gonna be the countryside where the only wind you're getting is the wind that you get from the wind that comes in, to what God created. That was it. But so I mean, a lot of those clothes. I think I only dressed up maybe that Sunday night, like actually had slacks on. But throughout, man, I gave all of my shirts away, like all my nice dress shirts. I gave them away. I mean, I'm like, man, this don't even matter to me. And when I was giving them to the kids, to the young guys, you can just see they were just so appreciative of it. Like that showed me that's what really matters to me now, man. That's what my focus is, man. Helping somebody. It's a self-fulfillment I got in that I didn't get, that I don't get being here. Not to say that I don't like the doing things of God or ministry because our ministry, but now I see what I talked to Minister Nick and some of the brothers, and they pretty much told me that, and this is what they told me exactly. They said they don't want to come back to the temple. And I was thinking, like, what you mean? And he said, not because they feel like they're above the temple and that, but they say when they're out, whether it be in Savannah or Stable or wherever, Groveland, it's a self-fulfillment they get, knowing that they're really helping people, knowing that they're really touching people's lives. So, because here at the temple, we can easily get relaxed and get complacent because it's just a temple. But really, this is supposed to be our training base. To come here, get refueled up, get trained, and then go out. Come back, get refueled, trained, and then go back out. And it took me having to go out there to really see that, because I know this is evangelistical service, but when you're in a different foreign country, that's no longer considered evangelism. That's a mission. So, some of them places you might not be able to do door-to-door knocking because you're in a whole different world. Not to say there's no wrong evangelism. I'm not saying that, but when you're out in that territory where it's not run by the governmental structure we have here, and this and that, that's a mission at that point, man. You walking on what soldiers do. Soldiers do that. I know they got a song say, "I'm a soldier in the army of the Lord." Man, if you ain't never gone now, man, you ain't no soldier. You ain't no soldier. You're a civilian. If you stuck on the temple, you're a civilian. Once you go out and see, I guess this is that kid in me. Like when I was going, and I'm gonna get out your way, but I don't know what it was. I'm in this territory, and knowing, and I mean, at any time, especially through Port-au-Prince, those policemen over there, I mean, all of them, they carry M16s, AKs on the spot. And Brother Daniel tell me that they would intimidate you, but at any time they'll stop a car and they'll try to harass you as much as just to give them some money. I mean, the corruption over there is it's plainly seen. It's plainly seen. And be honest with you, we actually got stopped. On day one, we actually got stopped. And the guy was actually going to start searching us and trying to bother us to get us to that spot to give them money, because we was in the truck and they seen a whole bunch of suitcases. So they know that, okay, these are missionaries. They know they got some money. was brother Daniel, who was one of the undercover guards. He had a hat on, and they recognized him, and he was able to go. So we actually was going to probably have a little hostile situation from the jump. But guess what? That comes with it. That's mission. That's mission work. This ain't no cupcake knowing that you can do if you pass a little tracks and then go back home. That's it. You know, unfamiliar territory, man, anything can go down. And right when Pastor was about to get ready on, I think it was that Wednesday night, I think he spoke, or that Sunday night. And he pretty much saying that how the apostles, when they went out, they know that the possibility of dying or being afflicted is real, is reality. And to be honest with you, that is a possibility when you do mission work. I'm to be honest with you, I'm not trying to scare no one, but that's the reality. But you know, I noticed something as I've gone through that experience in Haiti. I feel like there's not one area that I wouldn't want to go to, because two things: my trust in the Lord has increased, and I trust the leader that He's placed me under. And as long as I got those two things intact, I'm gonna be all right. And I tell myself this all the time: there's only two ways I'm gonna leave this earth. If I'm living and get raptured up, or if I die for the gospel's sake. That's it. I don't plan on going no other way. So me being in a position when I'm in unfamiliar territory, it's just gonna increase my faith, increase my trust in Him, and it's gonna be more of a reality. Because one thing to say, "Oh Lord, I'll die for you," and this and that, and you never gone nowhere. But as you start going places, it's just gonna increase your faith. Because them guys, Paul and all God, them guys walk with a certain boldness about them. And I want to get to the point where if I happen to do get captured or kidnapped or beaten, that I have joy in it, because I don't want to, because I know I'm not myself. And I know the Lord has a work in me, so I want to get to a point where I can get ridiculed, I can get reviled, I can get spit on, because if Christ's our example, we gotta be like Him, and the way He handles situations, we gotta handle it just like Him. I want to be all that He has for me. Amen. Let's go to James. I'm gonna get out your way. Give a few scriptures. I'm gonna get out your way. Let's go to James, the 2nd chapter. James 2, let's start in verse 15. It reads, "If a brother or sister be naked or destitute of daily food, and one of you say unto him, Depart in peace, and be warmed and filled, notwithstanding ye give them those things which are needful to him, to the body, what doeth it profit?" So it's saying that, I give a good example. A lot of times we like to pray for people. You know, we look, come out, you know, pray for them, this and that, come out. But that's only catering to that spiritual man. But if I got a brother or sister knowing that he needs food, and I'm in a position to do so, what's it gonna profit me if I go up to the brother and be like, "Man, you're gonna be all right, man. God bless you. Yeah, you're gonna be all right." No. I'll tell you this: take that same hand that you want to do to pray for that person, and give this man a meal. Help him out. Because what we're doing over there, we're just catering to our natural man. Or we're out there in Haiti, but that spiritual man gonna get, you know, it's gonna come, you know, we're gonna bring the gospel and stuff. But right now we get that natural man, because you take out that natural man, it's gonna make it easier for him to receive the spiritual thing that you give to him. Let's go to 1 John. I'm gonna get out your way. Probably my last scripture. First John. Chapter 3. Let's start in 16. Let's start in verse 16. "Hereby perceive we the love of God, because He laid down His life for us, and we ought to lay down our lives for the brethren. But whoso have this world's goods, and seeth his brother have need, and shut up his bowels of compassion from him, how dwelleth the love of God in him?" My little children, let us not love the word Let us not love, excuse me, let us not love in word, neither in tongue, but in deed and in truth. For instance, it's saying, it's time out for saying, I love God. You know, I love God, or man, I love people. It's time out for that. Start showing your love. I would say start showing your love. That's how you show the love of God. You show it, you do the deed of it. As I read earlier, when the Lord was talking about separating the sheep from the goats, you weren't dealing about speaking in tongues or the apostolic doctrine or holiness or the lifestyle, which are things that we still need to do. It was spoken out of natural man about feeding folks. How can I say I love my brother and I see him hungry and I don't give him nothing to eat and I can help him out? That's showing the love of God. So we're to the point now, it's time out for saying I love the Lord. I love God. Show it. Show the love of God. Visit the sick. Visit those in prison. Let's do those things so we can be that worldwide church that the Lord is asking us to be. Amen. Come on, let's put our hands together and give God a hand praise. Amen. At this time, I'm going to turn to the hands of Mr. Tyler.